Halloween is only a few days away and I am super duper excited for it. Fall is one of my absolute favorite times of year. I'm already decked out in my Mickey Halloween gear and my little Halloween mouse ears. And so for today, I wanted to share my Halloween Disney pin collection. I always think that I have more Halloween pins than I actually do, considering how much I like Halloween. So I don't have like too many, but I think the ones that I do have are kind of interesting. And actually, a lot of them are from Hong Kong Disneyland. And you know, pins from Hong Kong are always really cool. So I thought, what would be a better spooktacular video than to share all of my Halloween Disney pins? If you're also feeling in a Halloweeny mood, I do also have 2 other new Halloween videos on my channel. I have a DIY video on how to make a Snow White inspired poison apple. And then I have another DIY video on how to make actually edible candy apples like they sell in the Disney parks. I'll link both of those in the description below, but this video is going to be all about pins. For just a little overview, these are all of my Halloween pins here. Since I just have them out seasonally, I keep them on the small cork board, and I've had a number of people ask me about these cork boards, and these are actually just cork trivets from IKEA. They sell them, I think, in 3-packs. So all of the small circular cork boards on my walls are these. I just glued a little hanger onto the back of it. But I keep this one on a little stand in my desk so I don't have anything hanging from it. But they're super great to use as small pin boards. So I'm first going to start with the one pin that I don't have on that board because there's no room for it. And this is my newest pin. This pin was from the Disney Studio Store Hollywood's recent Hocus Pocus release. And it's Yzma as a kitty cat, and she's dressed up as a little witch. They had a series of different Disney cats all dressed up as witches with broomsticks. And I love Yzma so much, and I love her even more when she's in her cat form. So this was a pin that was definitely a have to have. I haven't actually taken this out of its packaging yet, so I might as well do that now to actually see the pin up close. So here is our very terrifying spooky Yzma. This actually is a really big pin, so I'm super happy with that. I just love that they included her in the cat series. And even though this is kind of a Halloween-y pin, this is definitely going to permanently be on my boards with my Emperor's New Groove pins. This little Yzma kitty cat is an Ellie of 300. So now I'm just going to work my way through all the pins that I have on my little pin board. This pin is a super cool one from Hong Kong Disneyland. Mickey's dressed up as a Viking. I can't really tell what Minnie is, and Donald looks like he might be a jester. But there's a few reasons why this pin is great. So one, it just says Halloween on the bottom. It doesn't say any kind of year. So that means it's kind of like an evergreen Halloween pin. And then it's also cool because it has a movable element. So this bat, if you slide it just right, then you can move it up and then he locks in place. So I like to display the pin like this with the bat up, but you can also have it with the bat down, just kind of hidden like that. So I think that is a really neat added touch to the pin. This is another cool, pretty unique Halloween pin. I love basically everything about this design. It's got glitter, you have Minnie and Mickey on it, and then you even have little Minnie and Mickey ghosts. This pin is actually from the Disney Store Japan, and it's an odd edition size. It's an Ellie of 1800, but I love that this is just a pure classic Halloween design, and the purple color is super pretty. Next up, I have 2 more Dia de los Muertos style pins. So closely related to Halloween, but definitely a different holiday. This is a Mickey head pin. It's kind of in the style of Coco, and this is actually from Disneyland Paris. So you wouldn't think, but Disneyland Paris actually has quite a lot of Coco inspired things. Even though Coco is set in Mexico about a Mexican holiday, doesn't really have much to do with France, but you'll see some really cool Coco inspired stuff here, like this Mickey head pin. Next, I have this Disneyland Dia de los Muertos pin featuring Goofy. I actually just got this very recently. I found someone selling this on Facebook and I'd never seen it before, and I thought it was so cool. Again, it's super awesome because it doesn't have any year on it. It is just an evergreen holiday pin. I thought it was super awesome that they included some saguaro cactus in the background. There's definitely a lot of cacti around here. Goofy is dressed up in his skeleton costume. He's wearing a big sombrero. And this pin is actually a limited edition of 1,000. Here's a relatively new pin from Hong Kong Disneyland, and this is Finnick from Zootopia in his elephant form dressed up as a ghost. In Hong Kong, they released a 4-pin kind of booster style set with characters dressed up as Halloween ghosts. I have this pin and then one other from the set that I'll show. I think these are really cute cartoony Halloween designs. And then here's one of the other pins from that set, and that is Judy Hopps dressed up as a little ghost. What I love in all of these pins is that they have little candy buckets that are just tiny versions of themselves, like as pumpkins. This super adorable detail, and then you can also just see her little feet and like little blue uniform sticking out there. So I still have quite a few more pins from Hong Kong Disneyland. This one I love so much, and it has Minnie and Mickey with some pumpkins on it, and then even has this little spider dangle down there. Like most Hong Kong pins, there's a lot of really nice detail. You can see there's some black glitter on there, all of the bright kind of neon color that's all glow in the dark. The pumpkins are this really cool translucent fill. Just an all-around super cool pin. This pin was also kind of like my first like low limited edition size pin. So this is an LE500, and I got this quite a long time ago now, and I felt like I was so cool, like, ooh, an LE500 pin. So I was absolutely in love with pretty much everything about this pin. So this pin is another one from, you guessed it, Hong Kong Disneyland. So there's a semi-interesting story as to why I have this pin. So I had found this pin on eBay and purchased this pin, but the seller accidentally sent me this pin with Mickey on it first. And so they actually just let me keep the wrong pin that they sent me, and they ended up sending the correct pin. So I'm quite happy with how that ended up, because this is a pretty cool Mickey pin. Mickey, again, is kind of dressed up as a Viking. There's a lot of nice glitter on this too. Once again, just reads Halloween on there, not attached to any year. It's got a lot of skulls stacked there. It almost seems to give me like a Hamlet vibe. And then you got some creepy bats in the background. This pin here was one of the very first pins that I had ever gotten from the Disney Studio Store Hollywood. This pin was actually released when it was just the Disney soda fountain, and this is little Figaro as a pumpkin popper. All of the pumpkin here is rubberized elements, and then the neon glows in the dark. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually stained green a little bit around here, because when this pin was still pretty new, one of my pens somehow kind of exploded ink onto this, and it used to look really bad, but I was actually able to get quite a lot of that ink off. But I'm still really mad at myself for almost ruining this pin, because I was so excited to finally have a pin from the studio store, and then I had to go and get pen ink all over it. This little cutie Figaro is a limited edition of 400. Here is another new pin from this year, and this is the Minnie Mouse pin from the 2018 Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Walt Disney World. I think they did an awesome job with the party pins this year, and I love this Minnie Mouse one so much. There is just so many cool details to it. This whole frosting of the cupcake is rubberized. She's holding another rubberized cupcake there, and then the whole back is a spinner, all in super pretty Halloween-y colors. So this pin is a lot of what I love. I love Minnie Mouse, I love cupcakes, I love Halloween. So I have her now with my Halloween pins, but she's going to live permanently in my Sweets and Snacks collection. Because of box sets and frame sets, this pin is kind of a weird edition size. It is LE 5450. I have 2 more pins to go. This one here features Mickey as a vampire, Goofy as Frankenstein, and then it also looks like Donald is a vampire, and they're peeking out from behind a bubbling green cauldron. I always find it fun when characters are dressed up as other things, so I think that's why I like some of the Halloween pins. I'm pretty sure this artwork is used on a considerable amount of Disney licensed Halloween stuff. Like, I think I got like a candy bucket from Walgreens or something that uses this same artwork on it. And when I got this pin, I was like, that looks kind of familiar. But it's still pretty cool, and this is actually a pretty rare pin. This is a Disney Employee Center pin. So I'll show the back for that, because this is the only Employee Center pin that's stamped like that I've seen and had, and it's an LE of only 300. We're now going to finish off with the granddaddy of them all, this jumbo pin from Hong Kong Disneyland. So you'll notice that this artwork style is pretty similar to this pin. They're both from the same year, so I think they came out in 2015. This pin really is a whopper. It's definitely a true jumbo. And I remember I found it on eBay for probably close to what I would imagine the retail price was. This I had found as like one of my kind of early like wants on PinPics, and I was like, I don't know how or if I could ever find it. But as luck have it, the pin found its way to me. Again, this just has a ton of super cool details. So Mickey and the Hong Kong Disneyland text is all a pin on pin. You can see quite a lot of glitter there. All the neon glows in the dark. The Halloween text at the top actually has some pretty cool screen printing to give it dimension. And then I guess kind of a common theme, you have Figaro popping out of a little pumpkin. You also have Pluto, and it looks like he's got like an anchor tattoo on. And then on this you also have Duffy and Shelly May. And now that I think about it, this might be the only pin that I have that features Duffy or Shelly May. I'm not really a big fan of Duffy and Friends, but on this pin, kind of with the whole gang together, I do think they look pretty cute. This pin is a Magic Access exclusive, which is an equivalent to an annual pass holder, and it's an LE of 500. So that was my tour through all of my Halloween Disney pins. Once Halloween is over, I'll probably try and look and find some new Halloween pins, because at least in my theory, you're more likely to find better pins in the off-season as opposed to during Halloween time in the build-up when everybody's searching for it and prices might be higher. So I'll see if I can find any other gems, but I have plenty of time to add to the collection before next Halloween comes around. I hope you have a fun and safe Halloween, and thanks for watching!